Theater. It was many years before I got to play a room as nice as the Kessler Theater. I started out at a little joint down in Crystal Beach, Texas called Bob's Sports Bar and World Famous Grill. And the name was misleading. It was not a sports bar. That's my best joke, man. It was a little shrimp and dive bar on the Bolivar Peninsula. It was about the size of this stage, and there was none of y'all would have been there. There have been maybe two of you, or two of y'all, but you wouldn't be looking at me. You'd be watching a fishing tournament on TV or something like that. And there was a guy, we'll call him Mike, and Mike was a drug dealer that lived on the Bolivar Peninsula. And instead of using his proceeds and his profits to buy like a sports car or nice clothes, he didn't even wear clothes actually most of the time, he spent his money on an illegal wild game zoo on the beach. And when I say, he had zebras, he had a rhinoceros, he had a giraffe, he had ostriches, he had a lion, he had a full-grown lion that he used to bring to my gigs every once in a while. He would put him in this trailer that he had with bars on the back. He would get the lion inside, would drive it over to Bob's, would back it up, and Bob's, there was here's the stage, behind me would be a glass window, and then a parking lot, and then a Highway 87, and then the Gulf of Mexico. And he would back the lion right up. So if the two of y'all did decide to turn around for whatever reason, not only would you see me, but you'd see a giant full-grown African lion sitting behind me. And about 4 years ago, Hurricane Ike hit the Bolivar Peninsula and pretty much devastated it. Wiped out about 90% of the buildings, and my family lost their house, and lots of friends and family lost their homes down there. And I was overseas. I was in the UK doing a tour when this happened. And it was really hard to get any information on about what had happened because Bolivar is so small, and nobody was writing about it. And one night I was in London, England, and I was walking on stage, and somebody handed me a newspaper, like the London Times or something. And on the front page of the newspaper was the lion that used to hang out at my gigs. And it turned out what happened was that Mike, when he heard the hurricane was coming, in an act of mercy, decided he was leaving the peninsula, but he decided to let all the animals go so they at least had a fighting chance, right? And I don't know what happened to the rest of them, but the lion ended up on high ground, which was the church was the highest point on the peninsula, and the church is like 3 feet above sea level. And he ended up there, and there were 4 locals who also decided to stay, and they too went for the high ground, which was the church. And they got there, and there was this lion waiting on them. They said, what are we going to do? So they went inside, and they had this, it was 3 days before the National Guard could send anybody in to rescue anybody and check it out. And so for 3 days, they had this sort of standoff. It was like a redneck version of Life of Pi, kind of.